There is a strong anti-Ukraine tendency on the political left. Many leftists will repeat Russian propaganda without a second thought. It is disgraceful. They claim that the USA was as responsible for the war as Russia. They blame NATO and US military bases. They claim that Ukraine is infested with Nazis. They repeat Russian propaganda and downplay Russia's responsibility. Some of them even overtly side with Russia. It is really disgusting. Russia started this war with no justification whatsoever. Russia's stated justification was disgusting blood and soil nonsense. You can read it, it was deranged and fascistic. And it started a totally pointless bloodbath. If Russia's behaviour was justified, no US war has ever been unjustified. Even the Iraq war had a much stronger justification than the Russian invasion. Yet some leftists will cheer this on. They are mindless idiots. They attribute no agency to Russia. Mindless opposition to the USA is the only thing that motivates their mindless geopolitical analysis. It is revolting. It is effectively war crime denial. Pretending that this unjust war was the fault of anyone other than Russia is war crime denial. It is Kremlin-sponsored revisionism. Some on the left speak about how people on both sides are suffering. That sounds reasonable perhaps, except they never say that about the Israel-Palestine situation. That situation is simple and clear-cut. The Ukraine war is so complicated and both sides are to blame. This is what they tell us. It is stupid. The Ukraine war is a much more simplistic, clear-cut war than the Israel-Palestine conflict. And worst of all, this brain rot has taken over two of the left-wing parties. Labour has always been pro-Ukraine. I praise them for that. The Greens are not anti-Ukraine, but have very little interest in helping Ukraine. They criticised military aid and said we should just send humanitarian aid. They claimed that military aid is not our specialty, so we shouldn't send it. When we were sending money, $1 million is $1 million, what our specialty is irrelevant. Money is money, and without military aid, humanitarian aid is worthless. Putin will conquer Ukraine, pillage the aid, and create a humanitarian crisis. The vile idiots of the Maori Party claimed the Ukraine war is not our business. This is the kind of thing you would say if you sympathised with Putin, but lacked the spine to say so. It was a disgusting, gutless move. And of course, they are obsessed with the Israel-Palestine war. So how is the Ukraine war not our business? Ironically, they claim people don't care about Palestine because Palestinians are brown. But they don't care about Ukraine because Ukrainians are white. If Ukrainians were brown, we know the Maori Party would be very pro-Ukraine. Their brain-dead race obsession has taken over their geopolitical analysis. And how exactly is this war not our business? A peaceful, stable Europe is in our interest. Putin is seeking to create a might makes right environment, an amoral international environment. As a small, weak country, that is not in our interest. We must stand against Russia. So long as the Ukrainians want to fight, we should be supporting them. We must reject appeasement. We must stand against belligerent, dictatorial powers. That is what we must do. I am pleased that both National and Labour recognise this basic moral reality.